On Tuesday, EU leaders struck a deal on a €750 billion coronavirus recovery package, but they also agreed on the bloc's next long-term budget at the same time. Catherine Bennett from our business desk is here to tell us more about the breakdown of this €1 trillion budget. Hello, Catherine. So the European Commission has hailed the deal as a breakthrough for environmental policies, but some parts of the agreement actually cut funding for tackling climate change.
That's absolutely right. So out of this €1 trillion budget that they've agreed, 30% of that, 30% of this entire package will be going towards climate protection policies. Now, that means there'll be roughly €550 billion spent on tackling climate change over the 7-year period to 2027. Now, that's impressive, but it's nowhere near the €2.4 trillion that researchers say is needed if the EU wants to actually meet its climate targets. Leaders also agreed on the creation of a Just Transition Fund. So this is a budget that helps regions across the EU transform their industry to more environmentally friendly models. That was slated to receive €40 billion worth of funding, but in the final agreement was whittled down to just half of that, to less than half of that even, to €17.5 billion. Now, the European Parliament has the power to veto or to greenlight this package, and they're going to be meeting to discuss it tomorrow. And there are already a number of MEPs who have expressed concern with the deal, particularly with these issues on climate change. So we'll see tomorrow what demands they'll make before that deal can be ratified.
There are other parts of the budget were sidelined during the talks, including, perhaps surprisingly, healthcare funding.
Yes, and that is somewhat surprising. It may seem odd that we're in the midst of a global pandemic and yet the EU is still slashing some funding to healthcare. So the European Commission had originally proposed to create a sort of European health union called EU for Health. And the idea is that this programme would mobilise resources quickly across the bloc to respond to future health crises like pandemics. But instead, this instrument was cut entirely and funding for health was cut to €1.67 billion. That's down from an original €9.4 billion proposed by the European Commission in May. Alongside that as well, the budget for the European Research Programme, Horizon Europe, that was pared down to €80.9 billion, down from €94.4 billion. Now that's considered a strange move at a time when the recovery from the coronavirus pandemic across the bloc is dependent on new research, particularly in the sciences and in economics. And the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said herself that the deal had been made at the expense of some of these parts of the long-term budget. So we can have a listen to that now, I think.
In their search for compromise, leaders have made far-reaching adjustments into the new MFF and Next Generation EU, for example, in health, migration, external action, InvestEU. They have not taken up the solvency instrument. This is regrettable. It decreases the innovative part of the budget, even if more than 50% of the overall budget, MFF and Next Generation EU, will support modern policies.
And this, of course, is important because these cuts to research also go against the European Union's climate goals, because innovation is, of course, crucial to transforming industry so that the European Union can try and meet its targets in the future.